Among all the mysteries that exist in Peppa Pig, one of them is definitely the least talked about by people. We've already asked ourselves if Madame Gazelle is a vampire, or if Grandpa Pig used to be a pirate, and even if Peppa has a twin sister. But there's a very obvious question that no one is asking. Where is Suzy Sheep's dad? Stop and think. Can you remember any moment when he was even mentioned? It's kind of similar to the situation with Daddy Pig's parents, who also seem like they simply never existed. We know that Suzy lives only with her mother and her grandmother, but a Mr. Sheep apparently was never part of any of their lives. One theory is that even though he's never mentioned and seemingly doesn't exist, he's closer than we think. Suzy's dad is the narrator. Just imagine that. The narrator seems like this presence who knows everything about everyone. And this could be a way he found to stay connected to his daughter and know everything about her little world, from her teacher to her friends, and of course, his ex-wife and ex-mother-in-law. But this theory is kind of sad, don't you think? Man, it must be really lonely to be watching everything like that, and even narrating the story for strangers, which is us, right? Like, there has to be a reason why he keeps this kind of safe distance, don't you think? So get your wool coats ready, subscribe to the channel, and let's analyze all the possibilities for the absence of Suzy Sheep's dad here on Zigzag. In the episode, Suzy Sheep Moves Away, we almost had a tragedy in our hands because Suzy was about to move to another country forever. Can you imagine that? Man, it must be really sad to be friends with someone and have that person just ejected from your life out of nowhere. Peppa almost went through that. And that's because her mom had gotten a job in another country. Peppa and her gang live in the United Kingdom, and Mummy Sheep's job offer was in the United States, literally on another continent, a place very far away. Sure, one could always visit the other, but it's not the same, even if they could talk over the internet. After a while, the relationship cools down, and the chance to live in the same place again is the only thing that could rekindle that flame. And that was probably what would have happened with Mummy Sheep and Suzy's dad, because he's probably not in their lives anymore because he went to live in the US after the divorce. When Mummy Sheep gets the call saying she's not getting the job anymore, you can see the sadness on her face. She really wanted that job. Or is she sad for another reason? The most obvious theory about his absence is that, of course, he's no longer alive, which is something very possible to happen, and many kids go through that. Having one of the parents go too soon, or not even getting to know them because they were gone before the kid was born. Man, that's even sadder than the previous theory. If losing a friend is already rough, imagine losing a parent. The chances of Suzy dyeing her hair blue and later starting an Only Sheep account are much higher without a father figure. Let's hope Mummy and Granny Sheep are strict in raising her, right? Otherwise, Suzy being a future guest of the Whatever podcast might become a reality sooner than we think. If you also want to avoid that being Suzy's future, then subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you can keep up with everything happening to her and Peppa. Another theory that's a bit similar to the previous ones is that Suzy's dad, for some reason, took off. He bailed, he hit the road, pumped and dumped. He went out to buy cigarettes. The reason could be one of the usual ones, like he fought with Mummy Sheep, or didn't want to take responsibility, or maybe Suzy is the result of an affair. Yep. That theory will have to wait for the end of the video. Stick around to learn more because we have a suspect for the crime. But another reason he might have run away is more complex and not as common as those things that usually happen in real life, which is the guy is scared to death of Madame Gazelle. We already know she's obviously a vampire, right? Like, let's be real. That's not a secret anymore? Okay, fine. And there's no such thing as a ram in the show. The male version of a sheep is a lamb. And lambs, along with goats, are the first to be sacrificed in religious rituals or offerings to mystical entities. Like, for example, vampires. It's a way to prevent vampires from eating humans, or in Peppa's world, the other animals. And now think, it's not that Suzy's dad doesn't exist, but that rams don't exist at all. Can you remember seeing a single ram in the show? And he's probably missing because he escaped from the clutches of Madame Gazelle, who is a figure of authority in Peppa's little town. Seriously, everyone owes their lives and careers to her, and I mean literally everyone. She's been the teacher at that school for so long that she has literally taught multiple generations of residents. In the School Star episode, we learn that she taught Daddy Pig when he was Peppa's age. And we see that her appearance hasn't changed at all, which suggests she might have even taught older generations, like Grandpa Pig's, for example. So, when Suzy's dad escaped, he probably became a wanted man, because everyone literally owes everything to her and needs to do whatever they can to repay the years she dedicated to the good of those people. Okay, this next theory is the craziest of them all, so hold my hand tight here. The reason we don't see Suzy Sheep's dad, who theoretically would be a Mr. Ram, is because, in reality, he's not a ram, but a jolly old man. A jolly old human man. Yes, I'm talking about Santa Claus. Yeah, I told you this theory was completely bonkers, didn't I? Dude, this is all so messed up, I don't even know where to begin pointing out the mental illness. Like, a human having a child with a sheep? That kind of involvement would only be possible if, I don't know, for some reason Santa Claus is down with a desert crowd, and even then it wouldn't make sense for Suzy to be born a normal sheep. I mean, normal is a strong word, because she walks and acts like a human. Oh my God. Could it be that everyone in this universe is a child of Santa Claus? Is that why all the animals act like humans? No, I don't even want to imagine such an atrocity. Quick, type #forget in the comments to erase this from your mind. Okay? Can we talk about something happy? Some good news? Something that warms the heart more than the cursed misery of the last theory? Let's talk about hospital comas, because that's the theme of the next justification for the absence of Daddy Sheep. And this theory mixes with the initial theory in the video, the one where he's the narrator, because none of this actually exists, and he's kind of having a fever dream while in a coma and visualizes all these characters drawn in a childish scribble style. That would be a great explanation for why everyone is the same age for 20 years, and for other weird things like them having more than 6 Christmases in a single year. Personally, I'd find it really lame if it all turned out to be a dream in the end, because that's an extremely uncreative cop-out from whoever is writing. But Peppa Pig isn't some Tarantino movie either, so who even cares? Remember the cheating theory? Well then, one of the episodes where they go to Italy is what fuels this theory. In that episode, we see Peppa and her family enjoying their vacation in the land of Ezio Auditore and Uncle Mario.
It's a me, Mario!
And at some point in the hotel they're staying at, they meet a new character called Mr. Goat.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Probably, in the distant past, Mommy Sheep was traveling through Europe and met a charming Italian named Mr. Goat. And in a romance straight out of the Before trilogy movies, 2 strangers met and fell in love in Europe, only to never see each other again. And Suzy may have been born from that. And maybe Mommy Sheep even had a boyfriend waiting for her back home at that time. But he left when he saw her pregnant, and maybe that's why no one ever talks about Mr. Sheep. And it's something that could actually happen, since goats and sheep are very similar. So similar, in fact, that they can even have offspring together. I think this theory explains the absence pretty well, don't you think? After all, the guy lives in Italy, while Suzy's family lives in England. Way better than that theory which shall not be mentioned, right?